Government has moved into the development phase of the geothermal project in the Roseau Valley. Major strides taken in entrepreneurship training for youth and 16 days of activism against gender-based violence begins. Thanks for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine.
And I'm Tarnia Green. Stay with us for the details of the headline stories and others coming up right after the break.
If you can believe this.
Come by my house and let me show you some movies.
Why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Welcome back. The government of Dominica has now moved into the development phase of the geothermal project in the Roseau Valley. This phase will enable the fueling of a future 20-megawatt power station, which will cover Dominica's energy requirements. As part of the project, drilling work has commenced on a re-injection well in Trafalgar. Energy Minister Honorable Rayburn Blackmore told members of the media last Friday that this will be complemented by a production well in Loda.
We are now moving, as you heard from the Prime Minister's address, to the very important aspect of that program. That is to say, the development aspect. And that is to say, the drilling of the re-injection well in Trafalgar and the drilling of the production well in Loda. We want to give the people of Dominica, most of the people from the Roseau Valley, that the government will ensure that all the mitigating measures are put in place to ensure that it's done properly.
The Energy Minister said this new phase of the project follows the release of results of an Environmental Impact Assessment, EIA, conducted by Kawaib Environnement, a French service contractor. The results of the EIA have been made public and are available on the government's website.
The EIA in itself and final report has been made as in the public, which is very fundamental, and we are giving the people of Dominica the commitment to be very, very transparent in that regard. As a consequence, there was public consultation that speaks to the actual conclusion of the EIA in Loda and Trafalgar, and this report so far has been made public. It's on the government website, and of course we have also produced an executive summary of the report.
Dominica is currently energy self-sufficient for nearly 40% of its electricity requirements due to its exploitation of local energy resources. The government of Dominica is hoping that with the operation of a geothermal station with a gross output capability of at least 15 megawatts, this will replace diesel production and reduce the cost of electricity on the island. At present, the cost of electricity in Dominica is 40 US cents per kilowatt hour. Electricity produced by a geothermal system is expected to cost between 18 and 20 US cents per kilowatt hour.
Monday, November 25th marks the first of 16 Orange Days of activism against gender-based violence as declared by the Unite to End Violence Against Women campaign. The 16 days leading up to Human Rights Day on December 10 were established to maintain ongoing awareness of this issue of violence against women. Day 1 was internationally observed as the United Nations International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. For the next 15 days, the international community is invited to wear something orange to show support for the human right of women and girls to a life free from violence. Last Friday, November 21st, International Women's Day, UN Women's Executive Director called on the international community to be, and I quote, part of creating solutions to the pandemic of violence against women and girls, which today impacts 1 in 3 women worldwide. Dominica's own Minister for Gender Affairs, Honorable Gloria Schlinford, made an address to mark the occasion, calling for raised voices and zero tolerance.
The observance of 16 days of activism against gender violence is timely, since it follows on the heels of International Men's Day and Universal Children's Day, which are all observed in November every year. All of these observances have one thing in common: the call to eradicate all forms of violence within our society and to respect the human rights of citizens. Indeed, this launching of 16 days of activism to reject gender violence is perhaps the flagship event among all of these, for it reiterates the call already sounded by them for the various units of the family and certainly for people in general to take up their responsibility of helping to achieve peaceful homes and a peaceful land.
Secretary General of the United Nations Ban Ki-moon said, and I quote, "I welcome the chorus of voices calling for an end to the violence that affects an estimated 1 in 3 women in her lifetime. I applaud leaders who are helping to enact and enforce laws and change mindsets, and I pay tribute to all those heroes around the world who help victims to heal and to become agents of change." End of quote. Pearl, today we tell the world that we are not in favor of violence against women.
That's right.
Too many women in this world are being faced with violence acts. And today, we as women in our own community have to stand and let our voices be heard to say categorically that we are not going to accept that kind of violence. There are a number of instances of violence against women taking place in the country. We have domestic violence, we have sexual violence, we have sexual harassment on the job, we have dating violence, we have, persons kissing people that is unwanted, or sexually touching women that is not wanted as well. We have rape taking place even within the marriage. So there are a lot of examples of violence against women, not only in Dominica, not only in the Caribbean, but in the wider world. And it is time for us to stand and speak out against it.
I agree with you, but I also think it's down to an individual saying either they're not going to deal with this or they're not going to do this anymore. That's, the world over. One of the statistics that I, read today, which was quite alarming, is that 35% of women in their lifetime, the world over, will be abused or have been abused. And that's a lot,
And for those of us out there who thinks that there isn't an end to violence against women, there is an end to violence against women, and we have to take the stand today. We have to educate our young people, we have to educate our men and women about the importance of respecting women and respecting children, and therefore stopping this scourge of violence against women.
The Dominica Youth Business Trust and the Aid Bank have partnered to encourage youth entrepreneurship, and now in 2 years of this collaboration, 5 youths have received a boost toward their own businesses. 5 grants were awarded to the promising young businessmen and women last Thursday when the Youth Development Division and the DYBT graduated about 100 individuals in leadership, mentorship, and small business development. The Aid Bank, which has sponsored the Business Plan Innovation Award, says anywhere pressing economic and social challenges exist and local economic stimulation is necessary, it will fulfill its mandate.
We endeavor to deliver on this responsibility using our expertise and access to capital to partner with corporate entities like the Dominica Youth Business Trust and its activities such as the Business Plan Innovation Awards. When we are able to make a positive impact on our communities, we are in a better position to fulfill our mission to be a leader and catalyst in the economic and social development of Dominica. We are particularly pleased to be involved in this venture to invest in the nurturing and development of the youth of our country. This is the essence of our corporate responsibility, which we continue to give prime focus on our community agenda. The bank is pleased to be associated with the DYBT Development Program and would like to present a check of $23,000, which is the bank's second tranche towards the Business Innovation Awards, BPIA.
The awardees were Emmanuel Andrew, Bernice Fontaine Mourillon, Denise Gabriel, and Gareth Sharpless, receiving $1,000 each, and Grayson John, grand prize winner of $5,000. Vincent Etienne, director of the Small Business Support Unit, described enterprise Big G's Smokery.
Big G Smokery plans to embark on new ideas such as production of hams, sausages, ground smoked meat, and bacon. The company is situated in the southeast, Dalis to be specific, and will have opportunity to utilize all the local produced raw materials, example chicken and pork, especially from the abattoir that's been established, rabbits, fish, and all the fresh seasoning in the area. Big G intends to grow his own seasoning in order to reduce some of his costs. He will also be purchasing from other farmers, and the finished product, it will be vacuum packed and delivered to customers.
Big G's Smokery adds flavors like hickory, cinnamon, and cayenne to smoked meat and supplies hotels and supermarkets in addition to the general public. The DYBT has a 9-year history of churning out enterprising youths into the business market. Coordinator of the organization, Cesarina Paul, reveals just how much the trust contributes.
Collectively, the DYBT has trained 581 young people within its 9 years. We have seen the establishment of 24 new businesses over the last year. Currently, there are about 234 youth enterprises in operation within the Dominican economy due to direct support from the Dominica Youth Business Trust. Over 260 jobs have been created. A total of 107 loans were guaranteed through the loan guarantee facility, with 65 of these being current. 7 of these loans were accessed within November 2012 to November 2013. The DYBT is grateful to all the financial institutions who continue to partner to make these achievements possible for Dominica's youth.
Chief Youth Development Officer John Roach, former coordinator himself of the DYBT, believes in the investments being made in youth development by various agencies on the island.
In 2010, the Dominica Youth Business Trust attained accreditation status by the Youth Business International. In 2011, the Dominica Youth Business Trust was recognized by the Commonwealth Secretariat as a best practice in the entire Commonwealth of over 50 countries. In 2012, the Dominica Youth Business Trust captured the Champion Catalyzer Award by the Global Entrepreneurship Congress in Liverpool, UK, from among 123 competing countries. And in December 2012, the Dominica Youth Business Trust captured the Dominica Public Service Team Award.
At that event, Natoya Augustine of Bayline Seafood Services and Burton John Baptist of Burt Motors were awarded 2013 Determined Female and Male Entrepreneurs, respectively.
In more news, the OECS Export Development Unit hosted a 2-day workshop on business management for the creative industry sector in Dominica on Friday, November 22nd and Saturday, November 23rd. The workshop, which was held at the Garaway Hotel, was organized to deliver customized intervention to enhance the management skills and overall business capacity required to drive the competitiveness of enterprises in the creative industry sector in the OECS. OECS EDU Business Development Officer Sobas Esprit explains.
The OECS EDU is really there to provide support to drive private sector development in the OECS. We have two critical sectors that we focus attention on. That is manufacturing and agro-processing and creative industry sector. For the creative industry sector, as you know, this is a relatively new sector for the OECS and generally for the Caribbean. Whilst it is well understood that the Caribbean really has a tremendous amount of talent and creative talent, the sector, as an industry, we haven't really placed much emphasis on that sector. And so part of what we're doing is really trying to build awareness about the critical importance of that sector to our overall economy.
The creative industries include business activities related to audiovisual arts, that is film and music, handicraft and fashion. The two-day workshop was themed Development of Human Capacity in the OECS, Cultural Industries, Entrepreneurship, Strategic Development and Management. The workshop was facilitated by Dr. Joanne Toole of the University of the West Indies, lecturer and researcher in the creative industry sector. A full semester of lectures was condensed into 2 days of training for the arts and culture to promote effective planning and management of projects and activities being considered by cultural enterprises. Sobas Esprit gives more details.
We look at basically creating an entrepreneurial environment and entrepreneurial spirit so that our cultural firms and artists can thrive in that environment, giving people the sense that this is an industry, and like any industry, it has rules. There are things that you must do. So you have to have finance, you have to have human resource, you have to have good management skills, and of course, you can work together in a collaborative efforts to create synergies so that you can get the best bang for your buck.
Esprit said well over 30 individuals from various sectors of the creative industry in Dominica was in attendance. He indicated that work does not end with the 2 days of activity. Participants are expected to continue work on 4 projects initiated at the workshop.
Each group had to come up with ideas for projects, and they work through those ideas until they have a final product. So what we have basically is 4 or 5 project ideas for practitioners in Dominica to continue working on, because the idea is that wasn't the end. That was really a means, not the end in itself. And so we're hoping that they can take those ideas and continue working on them.
Esprit revealed that participants spoke highly of the content of the workshop and are optimistic that the knowledge acquired will help boost the creative industry in Dominica.
After 4 weeks of intensive training in business management and personal development, 24 young people have seen the light at the end of their tunnel and are poised to make an impact on the local economy. Last Friday, at the end of Global Entrepreneurship Week 2013, Cobley Entrepreneurs Leve held its 4th graduation ceremony, ending the retreat format training at the Jungle Bay Resort in Dalias. The graduation ceremony was directly focused on WELL's achievements, objectives, and organizations. D'Africa Thomas, a former participant turned board member, listed a few of the lessons learned from the group. Her business, Nature's Caress, she says, is doing well, with credit to the Cobley Entrepreneurs Leve organization.
WELL teaches business development skills such as business plan support, money management, the importance of proper planning, the importance of customer service, marketing, networking. WELL teaches us to sell ourselves as a brand. It teaches us to take risks, but take it wisely. WELL teaches us calculating and filing taxes, how to treat your customers so that they won't to work for you and with you. WELL also teaches personal development skills, endurance. WELL teaches leadership and management skills, the importance of adequate rest, reflections, assessing your now, appreciating others and their differences, trust, unity, and strength in numbers. We are partners, we are not competitors. We support each other and we know that we are also supported. We belong to a web that is changing the business environment of Dominica. We are a team and everyone is relevant. We are carrying Dominica to where it belongs.
At this point, WELL is 100 strong, forming a network of mentors, advisors, and support staff who aim to, quote, change the business landscape environment, end quote, of Dominica. Outgoing president of WELL and founder Sam Raphael delivered the keynote address with more of a heart-to-heart with the newly trained entrepreneurs. His advice included a few tips to becoming a good business person.
The first head start is to have self-discipline, to be able to deny yourself things. If you cannot deny yourself things, you cannot be a successful entrepreneur. If you like to see your car fancy and nice clothes on you like my nice suit, if your priority is there, you ain't getting anywhere. If you like to see your little bank book that nobody see, the numbers keep going up and up and up, you're gonna get somewhere. The enemy of getting things done is needing to have it perfect the first time. So get it as well as you could, be practical about it, and if there's a lesson to be learned, get on with it. You have to want to do better or want to improve. You have to want to do better than yesterday. To be a successful entrepreneur, you cannot be content with the past, no matter how big your achievement.
Chief Youth Development Officer John Roach remarked that small businesses represent 25% of the international business landscape and should obviously be pursued relentlessly.
Small businesses on average make up over 90% of enterprises in the world and account for 50 to 60% of employment, especially in developing countries. The Youth Business International Network has estimated that for every $1 invested on a youth entrepreneurship program, a return of at least $3 is realized in the national economy. A report from the International Labour Organization indicated youth jobs crisis is confirmed in both developed and developing countries, but the highest price has been paid by young people, where youth unemployment rate is at its highest since measurement began in 1991. There are by far more young people around the world that are stuck in circumstances of working poverty. According to the latest ILO estimates on working poverty, young people make up a disproportionately large share of the world's working poor.
Roach revealed that the United Nations has called on states to address the global challenge of youth unemployment and to give young people a chance at a decent living. Cobley Entrepreneurs Leve, he says, answered that call when it was established in 2010. And that's the end of the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole, non moins c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, un workshop qui a mis attention à la préservation environ la mer, qui a en place en Dominique Simen-Salan. Ministre pour Honorable Ribbon Blackmore a adressé cérémonie pour ouvrir workshop là, qui a en place en Hôtel Fontaine en Roseau.
The people cannot cacher l'eau qui mouve, bagay qui a poisonné la mer. Eh bien, ça pas bon pour santé nous, et pas bon pièce pour voir qui a voyagé, qui a conduit en la mer là, quand même des bagay qu'on produit, eh bien, pour nous manger. C'est un bagay bien important pour nous faire certain, nous mettre mise en place pour protéger l'environnement, la mer, avec pour faire primaire pour bateau servir. Au ça va pour exemple, nous avons fait un pile trade à la mer. Aussi la vie pas ça possible sans la mer. Ça n'est pas ça bon si on est l'eau la mer même empoisonné. Et comme ça, il y a un pile gros bateau qui a chaillé de l'eau qui n'est pas bon pour la mer, qui a poisonné la mer là. So workshop ça que ce monde là participant à workshop ça première manœuvre pour conduire un service pour protéger l'environnement la mer et pour faire certain enforcer international standard avec un protocole level loi.
En autre nouvelle, travail qui a bien formidable à Sichime en Méro. Membre parlement honorable Kelvin Darrow visité le projet la semaine passée.
Chimé Méro, nous avons fait un bon chimé pour ces mondes Méro. Chimé ça a été commencé l'année passée. Et bien, nous avons fait un autre section en chimé Méro. Il a coûté $30,000. Et puis, tous ces gens qui travaillent dans la chimie, c'est jeunes gens Méro. Et puis, là, ils ont dit qu'on ne peut pas faire rien pour les jeunes gens. Ça, c'est testament, ça, nous avons fait pour les jeunes gens. Nous avons providé employment by you. Et bien, c'est pour ça, là, ils sont serious, ils sont sérieux. Et bien, moi, un mes travail et puis yo. Et bien, chimie, ça, là, c'est un bon chimie. Et bien, les touristes viennent en Méro, ils même, ils savent marcher dans la chimie, ça, là, sans souliers. Puis, c'est un neat job. Et bien, je suis content, et puis, c'est toi qui as fait.
Et puis, chairman pour Discover Dominic Authority, Benoit Badwell, qui a fait parole comment il est bien satisfait de la saison touriste là ouvert. Selon M. Badwell, tout le monde est supposé jouer par ailleurs pour faire marcher bien.
Ça, nous ouais, c'est tout le monde qui a fait ça pour faire. So, nous avons assez espéré saison qui a passé bien. Nous partons des pièces problèmes à présent. Avec nous, ça, pour saison, nous avons trouvé 300 000 personnes. Avec nous, ne voulons pas pièces incident. Ces polices là, tout le monde qui travaille ensemble. So, nous voulons les gens vivre à ce bateau. Ils disent comme ils ont plaisir et ils ont joyeux en Dominique. So, ça dit les autres mondes. So, ça vient aussi.
Et puis finalement, la compagnie de Wasco a bâti le projet de l'eau en grand fond. Selon l'officier Relations publiques Edward Regis, le programme là tout pour finir.
Plus bonne année, nous avons lancé un projet pour nous augmenter le système village grand fond. Avec ça, qui a coûté nous presque $2 millions. Avec le projet, ça a presque venu au bout. Avec nous bien contents de ça qui fait là, c'est mon grand fond. Avec nous juste fait manœuvre pour nous, ça fait certain que mon jeune rivière qui est tapé en primaire système aussi. Comme ça, nous faisons un gros storage tank là, avec nous lier toutes ces pipes là déjà. Le projet est presque fini. Avec tout de suite, c'est un grand fond qui a injoui en primaire système gros.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en Creole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Up next is the tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans, and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
If you're someone who struggles to drink enough water on a daily basis, here are a couple of tips you could use to meet your daily quota. Use natural fruits to flavor your water like watermelon chunks, mint, or orange slices.
To amp up the taste even more, let it sit for a few hours in your fridge. This tip might sound like you're cheating, but it's not. You can technically hydrate with water-rich foods like cucumbers, melons, celery, and even soup with a light broth.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel.
On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Pearl Fontaine.
And I'm Tarnia Green. Thank you so much for watching, and do remember to join us again tomorrow.